Hey, good morning, everybody. It's October 20th, 2025, and the favorite time of our week because it's Mondays with Bev and Paul. And hi, everybody, my name's Paul.
Good morning. This is Steph.
Good morning, Bev.
Morning,
I have
Paul.
to tell you, my mind has been so jiggled up for the because the past couple of weeks and shows it's been like I had to do it at home. Then last week we couldn't do it, and I had to just
Couldn't do it.
go online and show you Santa Fe and the powwow.
Oh,
That was
the
a
powwow, yeah.
that was like,
But
and
at
so
least we made an appearance.
we made an appearance. We have not missed a
Right,
Monday yet. So
right. One of us has shown up.
and so today I get here, I'm like, oh my God, how do I do all this again? So
I know. I
hopefully you're all
know.
getting this. I'm sure you are. We're in your home, we're on your phone, we're on your tablet, and we're going to share with you how come more people aren't using BioTouch. It's like,
We've inquiring minds want to know
yes,
ours.
and we're going to go back to the basics. So, doing that, we asked our old friend ChatGPT, you know, how why don't more people use BioTouch in daily life? And we're just going to go over some of these things and build on what we got back because what we got back was things we've been saying for decades now.
Ever. Right.
It's the same old musty cheese, but it's
Yeah.
good to remember. First one is lack of awareness, huh? Most people simply
Mm.
don't know BioTouch exists, which is
Which is what
interesting.
our job is.
Right,
Get
right.
it out there.
It goes on to say BioTouch isn't a mainstream or commercialized modality and it doesn't rely on aggressive marketing. I think that was a thing from the beginning we talked about.
Right.
We didn't want to be a marketing agency,
Yes,
you know. And so
absolutely.
it gets overshadowed by more familiar names like things like Reiki, massage, medical treatments, which is interesting because things like Reiki that started back in 1940s here in America,
Yeah.
and now it's so much mainstream they use it on a lot of sitcoms.
I mean, it's like, yeah, it's just like in everybody's consciousness.
Yeah, I went
Yeah.
to a presentation. It was an Ayurvedic oil drip thing, and I was listening to wonderful technique. Group here in Tucson, a husband and wife team offer it. But I was just thinking about all the things he said that it did, and all the clinical data he had to show how it affected the body and the frontal lobe and the third eye, and all this stuff. And I was thinking,
Wow.
well, BioTouch does all of that,
It does all that.
with
Right.
a simple touch, no levels,
Well accessible to everyone.
and I think that's the key. Yeah, it's accessible to everyone. So, the lack of awareness, we've done our job, haven't we?
We're trying, I tell you, we have been, yes, indeed.
So,
And it's paying off because, things are happening. However,
yeah,
you
I
know,
mean,
uh, our thought is, if this is for everyone, that's a lot of people.
right, like the rallies this last weekend, 8.2 million people. Let's get
We did
8.2 million people with a rally of just touch.
biotech. Wow,
Just touch.
that would be
Imagine if you
awesome.
had 8.2 million people just do the greeting with one another.
Oh man. Well, we've kind of tried to envision that before,
Right.
and yeah,
So
it would change things.
that's the vision, right? And so, in this lack of awareness, we're dependent on all of you out there who listen to this show, who get our emails, who post on our Facebook, on our YouTube, on our Instagram. Uh, Take a moment and share it with somebody. And if you've done it or used it, take a moment and write us a testimonial or do a vouch, which is a little video that we can post with people. And if you need help in doing that, I'll send you a link to that. But the more that you talk about it, the more that you share it, the more that you post it, that's how we raise awareness.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
Bev and I are doing what we can
I
Mondays with Bev
know.
and Paul for how many years now? We said 8 years? 9
9 years.
years.
9 years. Actually, nine is a wonderful number. It's a number of fulfillment. So we'll see
Yeah.
this year, 9 years.
And then Deborah just sent to me about it was 10 years ago just last week.
I
that
know for
we
the
had our
book.
book, BioTouch Healing with the
Gala.
Power in Our Fingertips.
Yeah.
And so we've had the book out, and we still have people reading it. Just went to Germany. Germany had 6 people in a class. I joined Michaela for that. And one of the ladies had read the book that was translated into German
Right.
and
Wonderful.
had some
Yeah.
personal questions. And that was great. She loved the book. And
Oh,
so,
great.
the book is out there. You can get that. You can pass it on, give it as a gift to somebody. It's really easy to understand about BioTouch, Deborah Schildhaus's journey in relation to my journey on how BioTouch even came to public awareness. The next thing
Right.
Chat talked about of why most people don't use BioTouch is cultural conditioning. This is a good one. Our
Oh,
culture
yeah.
tends to separate, quote, healing from a daily life, leaving it to doctors, specialists, or experts. BioTouch challenges that by empowering ordinary people to touch and help one another, which can feel foreign or even uncomfortable at first. I like that word,
Well,
challenges.
I think this is kind of addressed in our vision statement, where we say that BioTouch encourages self-awareness and in that taking responsibility for your own health care through all stages of life,
Right.
right? And this is something that we have not been really programmed for. We've been raised and live in a society that it separates ourselves from our own body. I mean, that's how I always think of, we're on the outside looking at our bodies. We're not even looking in, we're just looking at our bodies, right? And feeling totally separated, like, well, I don't have any power over that. I guess I better go to a total stranger who knows even less than I do about my body and let that person, diagnose and prescribe and control. So I don't have to. And BioTouch is sometimes tough love, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because when you start to grow that self-awareness, there's some things you might not want to look at.
Yeah. That's the self-awareness part. Yeah. And in that conditioning, it's like you were saying, it's not about not using any of these other techniques or the standard
Right.
medical care or going to the doctor because you need radiation or like you
Yeah.
when you had your atrial fibrillation, whatever that term means. But you've attracted a team around you who's respected you
Yeah.
and
That's
listening to you and that or when I did my radiation, a team gathered around me that respected all the different things I was choosing to do along
right.
with their care. So you become the coordinator of your own health care.
Well, that is what the possibility is if you choose to step into that role. Unfortunately, not everybody, and maybe it's because, and we'll get to this, but because they don't feel empowered to
Right.
make those choices for themselves.
Yeah.
They're not used to making those choices. So, yeah,
And that's why we see BioTouch somehow triggers that inner knowing that it's okay for me to do the operation or it's okay for me not to do the operation. I mean, I've seen that for decades now. It
yeah.
empowers people internally to trust their knowingness. You know. So why aren't other people doing it in daily life? A fear of doing it wrong. We hear that a lot.
I know that's so interesting, but it's very viable because, of course, you start imagining this thought form of a healing modality, and let's face it, most of them have taken, quite some time, quite some money, things like that, that just is a deterrent anyway for many, many people. Not everybody steps into that to do some of those modalities. But with BioTouch, none of that is required. And that's the beauty of it. It's, as we said before, and really mean this, it is literally meant for everyone to
Right.
be able to access and to use and to be effective. That's what really kind of puts it in. It's kind of very unique in that from other modalities.
Part of the questions that came from some of the German students was it was about doing a particular system, and well, what happens if your hands are here and it's starting to cross but
Oh,
it's not, and I just had to take it back to, something, you can't hurt anybody.
right,
Even with a so-called crossfire, their brains aren't going to blow up.
right.
So just listen. Your fingers will go to where it's appropriate. I mean, we always say, well, when people ask, "Can I do this?" or "Can I do that?" and we always tell them, just hear Bev saying, "Go for it."
Yeah, right. Yes.
Yes, yes,
You,
yes.
you
If
know,
you're thinking of it, do it.
right. What's interesting is that there's this big thought form out there now and has been for some while, how important touch is. And it's not just about how important or how healing touch is, although we know it is, just how important touch is, just that connection, that touching one person into another. And this is really one of the biggest platforms that BioTouch works through. It is a touching modality, skin to skin. This is the connection that everyone misses. And really, somewhere in their inner awareness, understands how important touching it really is. And when you don't have it, it's like it brings into our consciousness again that very subtle sense of interconnectedness between life. Touching allows us to be that and for each other. And so it's even a part of, well, BioTouch is a healing modality that, has results. It just the touching itself is something that people are aware of, is very important. Now
Right.
you add that to a specific technique, and then you really have something very powerful, very 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 profound, that you can actually not just touch another human being, but touch them in a way that makes their body better.
Well, and that's one of the other things that chat told us about was one of the reasons people don't do it daily life. They're underestimating the simplicity. Because
Mm,
BioTouch is so easy to learn, many dismiss it as too simple to be effective. We've been taught that healing must be complicated, expensive, or require long training. We
that's
just
it.
talked about that. And then it goes into its point here where what you were just talking about, modern isolation. Daily life today is often fast paced and touch deprived. BioTouch requires presence, contact, and relationships, things many people are unconsciously missing or avoiding. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I,
Well, we are a society, we are a global society that has really perfected the idea over many, many eons that we are separated. And we talk in terms of us and them, me and you, us and they, on and on and on. And our minds are so full of that we have followed that, and our daily living is very separated from each other. And then you have something like BioTouch. One of the big reasons, that people aren't doing it more is because they're still locked into this old idea that we are somehow, there's me, don't get in my space, there's you, I'll stay out of yours, mind your own business. This is not your issue, on and on and on. We talk in terms all day long like that,
right,
right? And then here you and I are like, oh, you need to do BioTouch. It brings us together.
right,
I mean,
right.
we're right in that moment with each other, huh? What?
Yeah,
you know?
and the whole idea of having to protect yourself when you're doing healing work and all these rules and
Yeah,
regulations that separate us from another human being,
yeah,
or and that fear is all these things. The simplicity of it. Another thing here is, we don't understand the simplicity. So those are things that are so foreign to us in this complicated world of
yeah.
snippets, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, the news media. I mean, look at the news. If you get more than a 10-second news blip, you can't handle it all. And here we're asking you to sit in front of another person, take the index and middle finger, lightly touch them on the skin for 6 to 8 seconds. And what do we say if you do the greeting and just A of the headset? Bringing the frontal lobe and the rear lobe together, you're bringing the
Yeah.
brain together here, takes you 30 seconds. That's less
Well,
than a news clip.
I know exactly. And something's happening positively too,
Right,
by the way.
right.
I think a lot of it too, and I think we touched on this, but it bears repeating. In this world, there's a lot of self-doubt, self-worth issues. Oh my gosh, I can't do that. Oh, I'm not capable of doing that. I don't think I can do that. I'm not qualified. I'm not good enough. And BioTouch just asks that you take those first two fingers and you lightly touch another person in a certain point on the skin. Um, and so it is, that's why we say it's so accessible because everybody can do that,
Right.
you know. But it's our own sense of, we limit ourselves. Well, I can't help another person. How can I be effective and make somebody feel better? It's in us already. This is the point. We don't have to, it's about us remembering that we have the power and the ability and the love within us to
And,
help another human being.
and I think that's the key. Remembering that we are loved, that, letting ourselves be loved, and that we are love. And when you
Yeah.
come to those true expressions of love, this is not a concept, this is not something you can think about. That touch puts us in that trusting, letting ourselves, and just being love. And in that, we're all equal. We're all able to
Yes.
help one
We're
another.
all,
We can heal the planet. We can heal ourselves, help one another. It's a wonderful dance. And we're
it
just here
really is.
every week to keep sharing that over and over. Go to
And
justtouch.com. Learn it. Download just the greeting. If you want the whole manual, it's easy to get that too. It's in an ebook version, has links to the video showing you how to do it. Remember, you can't hurt anybody, you can only help. And we're
I
here.
think at this time in our history, we're beginning to talk more and more about love. And we are saying to everyone out there, if you truly want to put love into action in your life, all you have to do is those two fingers. That's it.
Yeah.
Touch another human being. Put love into action. That's what BioTouch offers.
So please join us. Join us every Monday too for a lot of fun and discussion. If you'd like us to address anything on the show, just send us an email, office@justtouch.com, and we'll yak away for 20 minutes. We know how to do that.
We do. We, we, we definitely have that one under control.
Thank you all for letting us into your space, however you're watching this.
Yeah.
And thank you, Bev.
Thank you, Paul. And thanks for connecting with us, everyone.
See you next week, folks.
I can feel the pain in sunshine or rain, so it's not caused by the weather, but it doesn't hurt that much after I feel your loving touch and we spend some time together. take my pain away each and every day. You're an angel from heaven on high. Your butterfly touch helps me heal so much, and I get better as time goes by. You take my pain away.